Thank you, Madam President. I would ask unanimous consent that privileges of the floor be granted to my interns for the balance of the month of June 2017. Those interns are Claire Faulkner, Fiona Kelty, Jackson Blackwell, Jaden Frazier, James Flemings, Kinani Halverson, Mary Crowley, Tasha Elizarde, Taylor Holman, Tristan Duval, Fatos Redzepi, and Amy Bushnell.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, over the Memorial Day weekend, Alaska lost two really great men. These men were doers, they were builders in every sense of the word, both literally and figuratively. They were family people, and they were the best of friends to one another and to so many of us. Today, I would like to pay tribute to Sam R. Bryce and Howard A. Otis. Although nobody called him Howard, we all knew him as Buzz Otis. And I'd like to take just a few moments this afternoon and tell members of the Senate a little bit about these two very wonderful and great men. You really couldn't find two more genuine Alaskans than Sam and Buzz. And yet, neither one of them was born in the state. They came to Alaska. Sam grew up in Florida. He was educated at Columbia University in New York City. So he's a long way from New York City when you come to Fairbanks, Alaska. But he served in the Marine Corps, and it was then he moved to Alaska to help his parents, Luther and Elenka, and they established a family construction business there in the interior. And the story's pretty legendary about his mother. His mother, Elenka, spelled her name always with a lowercase, didn't want the capital, always made sure that you put the emphasis on the len in Helenka, but she was really the epitome of an independent, self-reliant, really strong Alaskan woman. She wouldn't let anyone forget that, but she was very outgoing and vivacious, heart of gold, and I think it all wore off on her children. We certainly saw that in Sam. It was said that Sam Bryce never met a stranger. He was known for remembering every good deed that others did for him, no matter how many years in the past, it may have been decades after the event. And he always generously returned the favor, or always remembered to just say, thank you for that, back in the years. But Sam was one who just did good. He did good throughout the state. Those in rural Alaska have fond memories and really affection for a man who helped within their communities, who was a leader. He was a leader of the Associated General Contractors, and in his later years, he was well known for roasting his fellow contractors at the AGC dinners. He had a great sense of humor, and that humor was really contagious. The lines from Sam's obituary really say everything that one would need to know about the man, and I quote from his obituary. They said, "In lieu of flowers, the family would wish all to remember Sam, who lived by example, whether a handshake, a smile, or a contribution. He was always willing to lend a helping hand. Please remember all the different ways that Sam has touched people's lives, and consciously think about how you can make the world a better place, as Sam demonstrated throughout his life. We ask you to honor Sam's memory by emulating his compassion to others and be a friend to man." So Sam's memorial services were this past Saturday. I was unable to attend, I know that the church was packed to overflowing. But as I was in another part of the state that day, I couldn't help but think of those words within the obituary about how we can individually and collectively think about how we can make the world a better place by being compassionate to others and being a friend to others and living that in our daily lives as Sam did. Truly, truly a great man. His friend, Buzz Otis. Buzz was also a transplant to Alaska. He grew up in Michigan. He was educated in Michigan State, and he came to Alaska in 1975, thinking that he was just going to explore the state for a few months, like so many who come to our state. They think they're going to just come, take a peek, and then leave. But as with many Alaskans, that didn't happen with Buzz. In 1976, he founded a landscaping business in Fairbanks. It's called Great Northwest. And this was really his ticket to business and to a lifetime commitment to Alaska. You know, I have so many good friends throughout the state who are givers, they're doers. And I just think that we have a tendency, perhaps in our more rural communities where we're cut off from others, but we give back to our communities. We help our neighbors. And Buzz Otis did that in spades. He was involved in a lot of different levels politically. He was a strong supporter of mine and other members of the Alaska delegation. He served on the Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly. He was elected as its presiding officer. He chaired the Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation. He managed the North Pole Economic Development Corporation. He was just involved in so many different aspects of his community. He was an outdoorsman, loved sports, was a rugby player, had a rugby pitch, loved the sport of dog mushing and encouraged young people to take it up. He was just always doing, always engaged. He was blessed in life to have a great family and a wonderful, beautiful wife, Renee. And their family has suffered some challenges over the years as they relate to health. But boy, that family standing together was a beautiful thing to watch in terms of the support that they all gave one another. And it was truly for Buzz as a father and as a family man. You can't think of better. Family really does come first. And that is ultimately what claimed the lives of these two wonderful men that had so much life left with them. Buzz's son was out on a river, and Sam and Buzz went out to go check on him. It wasn't out of the ordinary to go do this. It was good weather, good visibility, pretty fair day for the interior. And it turns out that Buzz's son was okay, but the flight ended in tragedy. Sam's plane went down near the Salcha River on the morning of Saturday, May 27th. If only this story had a happy ending, but instead it had somewhat of an Alaskan ending. Sam and Buzz gave their lives doing what so many Alaskans do, and that's looking out for one another, looking out for their family. But we all know we don't remember people for how they lost their lives, but we remember people for how they lived their lives. And Sam and Buzz were truly salt of the earth Alaskans. They were honest, hardworking, they were caring, they were adventurous. They hired local people, they treated them well. They were always welcomed by the communities that they served so faithfully. They really dedicated their lives to the betterment of the last frontier, and they never forgot family. Family was always first. So everyone says you can't say enough about these people, and it is true. So I will conclude my remarks and just simply express the Senate's condolences to the Brice and to the Otis families, to Joan Bryce, to Renee Otis, to their children, to their families, great families, destined to carry on the legacies of Sam Bryce and Buzz Otis.